tied none. Ted Brown is a prime running back for the Minnesota Vikings last week against the Green Bay Packers. He found a little running room and managed to dive into the end zone for a touchdown, but in a losing cause. The New Orleans Saints have won none. They've lost 12, and they have tied none. Jimmy Rogers is a big threat for them. Running back kickoffs is one of his specialties, and against the Los Angeles Rams on Monday night, he provided perhaps the only bright spot in that ball game for the New Orleans Saints when he broke his kickoff return up to the middle, turned up to the left sideline for a lot of good New Orleans yardage. The Minnesota Vikings and the New Orleans Saints at the Louisiana Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana. Hello, everybody. I'm Lindsey Nelson with Sonny Jurgensen here in New Orleans. Sonny, the New Orleans Saints haven't won a game yet. They've changed coaches. What's in store for them?
I tell you, you have a lot of proud and some good football players on this New Orleans team. They want to win. They want to salvage some self-respect for the rest of this season. And they think that today is the time to start for their new coach.
And the Minnesota Vikings, they've won 6, they've lost 6. In the Central Division, they trail Detroit by a half game.
The thing they can't be too concerned about is what the other teams are doing. They have to be concerned with the Minnesota Vikings. They take care of their own job and let everybody else take care of themselves. If they do that, they still have a chance. They're in the hunt because that whole Central Division is really jammed up and anybody can still win it.
Well, if you look at the standings in the Central Division, you find out that they're all still sort of jumbled up because they're just like that, and every team is still alive, and we're late in the season.
Mathematically, even the Chicago Bears are still alive.
So that's the way they look. We're set to go here, and let's take a look at the field. That is Jimmy Rogers, center deep to receive the kickoff. The New Orleans Saints have won the toss. They have elected to receive, defending the north goal. He's flanked by Wilson and Galbraith, and that's Rick Danmar. Getting the ball ready to place down on that tee at the 35-yard line. Bob Fredericks, crew of officials here this afternoon, assigned by the National Football League.
You notice Danmar there squeezing the football. He wants to get that leather a little pliable so that foot will make it move a little better.
As Fredericks whistled, here comes Danmar. Ball is in the air. Rogers moves over. He has it at the 5-yard line to the 10, to the 15, to the 20, to the 25, to the 26-yard line. So the New Orleans Saints will start first and 10. They will start at their own 26-yard line. Larry Bruin was downfield to make the tackle. A return of 21 yards for Rogers. Running backs are Rogers and Wayne Wilson for the New Orleans Saints. Henry Childs starting at tight end. Brooks Williams has been placed on the disabled list. Peter Zach is starting at center for New Orleans today in place of the injured John Hill. Archie Manning is the quarterback. Ike Harrison motioned back toward the inside. Rogers is carrying, and he got it up just short of the 30-yard line. Mark Mullaney came in to make the tackle.
There's the defensive line. Mullaney, White, Sutherland, and Holloway. Of course, last week, the Green Bay rushed for over 200 yards against them. Blair, Studwell, and McNeil at the linebackers. The secondary, Turner, Brian, Hannon, and Knopf. They've shifted those cornerbacks around a little bit.
2nd and 7 at the 29-yard line. A gain of 3 on the first play from scrimmage for the New Orleans Saints. Archie Manning dropping back for his first pass of the day. Incomplete. Trying to get it to tight end, Henry Childs. He was at the 40-yard line. The incompletion makes it 3rd down and 7 yards to go with the ball still at the 29-yard line.
He had Childs open. He just threw the ball a little bit behind him that time. Talking with Archie down on the field, Lindsey, he said, so many times this year I've tried to make something happen. I've gone out of my way to try to make a big play. It's been a mistake. Instead of forcing things happen, let them happen naturally.
Now the Minnesota Vikings have brought Keith Nord in. They've gone into their nickel defense on a 3rd down and 7 to go for the New Orleans Saints. Game having just begun. Here at the Superdome, Archie Manning dropping back. Goes long to Chandler, incomplete. Covering defensively was Turner. So that brings up a 4th down.
Yeah, Archie got a good rush this time. Excellent rush, but from Doug Sutherland, you see isolated right here. Wes Chandler going down, trying to make a move. He's covered. He cannot deliver the ball right then. And the reason was Matt Blair came in front of him Manning could not throw the ball low enough for him.
Russell Erxleben, who has averaged 39.1, puts it up to Eddie Payton. Payton takes it at his 31-yard line. 35. Now he is stacked up, and the ball gets away. Minnesota Vikings, I think, retained possession. Looked to be James Marshall on the ball.
Well, Lindsay, he was punting for 39-1, and he punted that one for 39 yards, so he's right at his average.
They're going to start at the 32-yard line. First down and 10 yards to go for the Minnesota Vikings. Tommy Kramer has Ted Brown and Ricky Young as his running backs.
Kramer's either been very hot or very cold. 11 touchdowns and 17 interceptions this year.
White to the left side, Rashad to the right side. Running backs in an I formation. That's Brown. He's thrown for a loss of 2 back to the 30-yard line. The New Orleans defense, led by Mike Fultz, who's starting in place of Barry Bennett. Bennett has a broken hand, so Fultz made the tackle. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, and it's intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the New Orleans Saints and the National Football League is prohibited. It is second down and 12 yards to go. Ball's at the 30-yard line. 3 linemen rush now for the New Orleans Saints. Kramer waiting for the snap. Down again. Ted Brown up to the 39-yard line before Schwartz comes over to make the tackle.
Usually New Orleans plays a 4-3 defense. That time they went to the 34 defense. Here's the Minnesota Vikings running back, Ricky Young, and of course Ted Brown, outstanding running back.
It's going to be third down and 2 yards to go. It's a long 2.
2 outstanding outside receivers, and Rashad and White, the offensive line. The veteran Ron Yary, and of course there's Kramer's stats for the year.
Third and short. Young and Brown, the running backs. That's Brown. He's got the first with yards to spare. Up at the 47-yard line, just short of it. It's first and 10. Mathis, Reggie Mathis, in to make the tackle.
Here's the defensive line. Alois Groom's Mike Fultz, as you said, starting in place of Barry Bennett, Derlin Moore and Tommy Hart. Their linebackers, Bordelon, Fetterspiel, and Reggie Mathis.
That was a gain of 7 yards on the play to make it first down and 10 yards to go at the 47-yard line.
Ray Waymer, Myers.
Brown, Ted Brown to the outside left. Past the sticks. Ray coming up from the corner to make the tackle. They'll take a long look now to the sideline to determine the possible first down. It appeared initially that he had passed the stick, but Bob Frederick, the referee, isn't all that sure, so he says bring out the sticks and let's measure.
Well, and just looking at Minnesota's offense here in the early going, their first possession, looks like they have a little more intensity today than they did last week. They looked a little flat against Green Bay. What reasons? I don't know.
Mike Fultz had been out of the ball game for a moment. Alex Price had replaced him at left tackle. Price is back in. Fultz is back in the ball game. Bud Grant talking to his tight end Bob Tucker. First down and 10 yards to go, as you saw. He was past the sticks. It's at the 43-yard line. No score. We're in the first quarter.
Boy, it's such a good drive for your entire offensive team when you can move the ball on the ground in the opening drive like this.
Ed Brown ahead of Ricky Young in the I formation for Kramer, the quarterback. That's Brown. They open up for him there in the middle, and he takes it up to the 36, possibly 35-yard line.
They have a blitz on this time, and the blitz is run right by Brown. Watch Fetterspiel go in. He gets trapped. That's the reason he ran by him. Good trap that time by Jim Huff.
Joe Sensor is coming to tight end now, and Tucker has gone off. There's a gain of 7 yards on the play. Second down and 3 yards to go now for the Minnesota Vikings at the 36-yard line of the New Orleans Saints. Kramer with a short drop gets it out to Ricky Young. Ricky Young goes out of bounds. It's going to be marked at the 33-yard line. Waymer, David Waymer, the former Notre Damer, bounced him out over there.
Well, he played that well, too. They tried to go to the slant to Rashad, and they couldn't. He had to take the secondary receiver, and Young coming out of the backfield.
They're taking a look to see how close it was to a first down, and it is very close to a first down. Just inches away. It'll be third now, and very short at the 33-yard line. Tucker comes back into the ball game, and tight end Joe Sensor goes off.
If you recall, Lindsay, this is a big problem that Minnesota had last week, is third and short yardage situations. They didn't convert on third down.
Bob Frederick, the referee, respots the ball. He had missed by a yard when he took it in from the inbounds marker, so he respots it. All right, Young's in the left set, and Brown's in the right set. Brown, first and 10, inside the 30-yard line. Fetterspiel in to make the tackle. First and 10 for the Vikings at the 30-yard line.
And we have a first quarter score, and the game is now in the second quarter, but the Cards scored in the first. They lead 7-0. The Redskins leading the Falcons 3-0 in the second period. A 51-yard field goal by Mark Mosley.
Ray has gone out of the ballgame. Marshall in defensively for New Orleans. Bud Grant is shuttling his tight ends in. He's got Sensor in there at the moment. Gives this to Ted Brown. And Brown gets to the 26-yard line for Fetterspiel came in to make the tackle.
Hellman came off that time. Boy, it's a tough enough game to play without your Hellman.
Gain of 4 makes it second down and 6 yards to go at the 26. Ted Brown going off now, and Robert Miller is coming to replace him at a running back for the Minnesota Vikings. They double receivers to the left side. That's Rashad to the far left, and in the slot, Sammy White. Hammer dropping back. Ricky Young, and he's got it inside the 20-yard line. Out of bounds at the 15. First and 10 for the Minnesota Vikings. Reggie Mathis forcing him out over there.
The slot formation just clears the area for Young coming out of the backfield. You're taking a look from behind the defense. The rush coming. He had good time to throw the ball. He had him isolated on Mathis. He had this one down. Last week he was a little high. He's been on the money both times.
Spotted at the 16-yard line. Ted Brown comes back into the ball game. Stats on Ricky Young. White to the right side, Rashad to the left side. 3 lineman rush for the New Orleans Saints here. Ted Brown, tailback in the eye. Gets only to the 14-yard line. Picked up 2 on the play to make it second down and 8 yards to go. Ken Bordelon, left outside linebacker, and Tommy Myers.
And Myers came up and filled well that time, and looked like that Brown was going to break the tackle of Bordelon. He filled his lane well, came up and made the late hit on him, which was a good one.
We won't call these shuttling tight ends all day because Bud Grant is using him to bring in plays. He's using Sensor and Bob Tucker alternately. Second down and 8 yards to go. Brown just inside the 10-yard line. Fetterspiel. Kovac, I beg your pardon.
Minnesota line really beating them to the charge right now in the early going here. They're coming off the ball well, moving that defensive line of the Saints back.
Third down, about 4.5. Ball is at the 10-yard line.
Well, what this does to your confidence, how to take the ball this way and be able to move it down the field with the ease that they have.
But it's what you do with it these last 10 yards. It counts.
It does have a bearing.
Young's in the left set, Brown on the right as Kramer retreats to throw. Incomplete, trying to get it to Ricky Young at the 1-yard line. Reggie Mathis covering there.
Boy, Ricky wanted that one. And as you said, what you do with it in these last yards. One play they didn't execute. They had the blitz on. He has his man open. He had the ball behind him, though. Didn't have it out in front of him. Would have had a touchdown.
Fetterspiel was putting the pressure on. Now Danmar is 13 field goals of 19 attempts, and his longest 47 yards. And it's going to be Steve Dills in the hole for him. And this will be a 28-yard attempt. Hash mark. And kick is up, and it is good. So the 28-yarder for Rick Danmar is good, and the Minnesota Vikings have scored first. And with 7 minutes, 49 seconds remaining to be played in the first quarter, there's a timeout with a score. Minnesota 3 and New Orleans nothing.
Up here in this country, winter isn't a season, it's a warning, telling you it's time to move down from the cold, down to a valley the wind can't reach, down toward home in a place called Miller Time. Time for the best tasting beer you can find, America's quality beer, Miller High Life.
When it's time to relax, one beer stands clear. Miller beer. Miller tastes too good to hurry through. If you got the time, we got the beer. Miller beer.
Details of the scoring drive there as Dan Meyer is waiting to kick off, and again it is Rogers center deep waiting to receive the kickoff for the New Orleans Saints. There is Rogers. And here comes Dan Meyer. Knuckleball. Galbraith muffs it. Picked up by Rogers and dropped it to 10. He's back to 15, and he is at the 16-yard line.
Very difficult ball to catch coming down that time because the ball was like a knuckleball moving back and forth. Hard to handle, and that's obviously what happened to Galbraith. He loses the ball, and then Rogers has a tough time picking it up. This is the kind that you break sometimes because everybody goes to sleep in the coverage team. This time, the Vikings didn't do so.
First and 10 at the 17-yard line. Archie Manning quarterbacking the New Orleans Saints, who are trailing by 3 points. That's Ike Harris in motion across. Now screen left to Chandler, out in the left flat. He's covered up immediately. That is Manning. Kurt Knopf made the stop on Chandler.
Well, Bobby Bryant played that as well as you can play this play. A quick screen to the split end. You see Manning going back, faking the handoff to Rogers, stands up, throws the ball. But look at Bryant right in his face right here, makes a hit, takes him off his stride a little bit, allowing Knopf to come over and make the play.
It was the 49th reception for Chandler. Essentially, it was no gain. It is second down and 10. The lineman rush for the Minnesota Vikings now as Archie Manning drops back. Guns this one to Ike Harris, and he's got it. At the 29-yard line, it's first and 10 for the New Orleans Saints. Turner's on that corner for the Minnesota Vikings.
Well, what a tough throw this time by Manning. He gets himself back. He gets good time to throw the ball. That's what he needs, is time to deliver the football. Takes a good stride, delivers it to Harris. A first down.
Play covered 11 yards at the first down for the New Orleans Saints.
Steelers leading the Dolphins 13-3.
6 minutes, 52 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Here indoors at the Superdome. On the ground to Rogers, trying the left side. Rogers up to the 35-yard line. Mark Mullaney brought him down. After he picked up 6, it'll be second down and 4 yards to go.
Emmanuel Zanders, the left guard, pulling that time. Made a good block, allowing Rogers to cut back up in the inside.
New Orleans Saints in possession. They're sending Ike Harris far to the right side, Wes Chandler to the left side. They split the running backs for Archie Manning.
350.
This is Rogers. Throw for about 3, trying to get to the sticks. It looked as though he might have missed by inches. It'll depend on where it's spotted, and Bob Frederick says, let me take a long look at this when we get it spotted.
Vikings run a 34 defense that time. They also are a conventional 4-3 type team defensively, but they do change up also.
Holloway and Johnson on the stop. They're going to measure now for the possible first down.
Reason team switch back and forth. We'll take a look at the measurement here.
Low short.
The team switching back and forth from a 4-3 to a 34 defense really give you a lot of work during the week in preparation of how to block the different sets defensively.
Third down and less than a yard to go. Two tight ends in the ball game now for the New Orleans Saints. Chandler's come off the field in the double tight end alignment, and it's going to be at the 39-yard line, just short of it. Saints trying here to pick up the first down to keep their drive alive. Rodgers first and 10, yards to spare. He has moved it to the 44-yard line. Hannon made the stop.
Well, what a good piece of blocking on the left side of the line. Look at Wilson going in there, the big hole on short yardage play. Wilson, 208-pounder from Shepherd College, going through leading that play. Good blocking from Zanders and Taylor.
Pick up a 7 yards on the play. 5 minutes, 17 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Archie Manning, short drop. Quick to Ike Harris. And complete at the 50-yard line. Turner covering over there. It's going to be 2nd and 10 at the 44-yard line.
Turner was covering, and it looked like Matt Blair almost got a hand on that football. He made Archie throw the ball where he did not want to throw the ball. It's just a quick 3-step drop, and he throws it. He goes up, but look where he has to throw the ball out in front of him.
2nd down and 10 yards to go for the Saints. Still trying to win their first game of this season, coming in with a record of no wins and 12 losses and a new coach, Dick Stanfield. Archie Manning. That's it, and it is taken by Wilson, and he is at the 50 and lunges across to the 48-yard line, still short of the first down. Bobby Bryant there for the Minnesota Vikings.
Wait. Well-conceived screen pass. You see number 30, Wayne Wilson, coming over, setting up, looked like he's going to block the rush. Comes in on Manning. You see Peterzak out in front, blocking, and he makes a good piece of running back up inside. Picks up 7 yards.
Two tight ends in now, Larry Hardy and Henry Childs for the New Orleans Saints on a 3rd and short. Not all that short. It's about 3 yards or 2.5 at the 48-yard line. And a wing right. Rodgers. Penalty marker. He got the first down, but there is a marker. Appeared to be an umpire's flag.
Well, they really came off the ball. This is a shame to have a holding call and be called back because they had picked up enough for the first down. Instead of a 1st and 10, they're going to have 3rd and very long.
Bob Frederick getting ready to mark off the holding penalty against the New Orleans Saints, which is a 10-yarder, of course, and puts the ball at the 42.
Offensive holding, number 68, 3rd down.
Fred Sturt.
1st and 10 sounds a little better than 3rd and 13, doesn't it?
Somehow there's a better ring to it. You're right. 5 defensive backs in there now for the Minnesota Vikings, fully expecting Archie Manning to go to the air with 4 minutes 11 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Minnesota leading by a score of 3-0. Archie Manning. Well, it's deflected at the line of scrimmage, incomplete, which will set up a 4th down and bring on the punting unit. And James White was the man who got a big hand up there to deflect it.
Yes, he did. It was a good rush also. They did not blitz. They had actually had 6 defensive backs in covering the pass. Manning gets good protection, but a very wise thing for a defensive lineman to do. When you can't rush a passer, you're getting blocked. You see the quarterback delivering the ball to get up as high as you can, which he did.
Erxleben kicking to Eddie Payton. Payton at the 21-yard line. Got just in advance of the 27.
They're going to have a late hit.
Penalty marker on the play. Punt covered 37 yards from scrimmage. Clarence Chapman. Larry Collins downfield on the tackle. The infraction being reported to the referee, who is the official in the black cap.
Personal foul, huh?
Against New Orleans.
Looks like when Peyton tries to split the two people coming down covering, watch this right here. Peterzak goes in and hits him right here. And I think you see the official reaching for his flag.
Number 76 on the kicking team. First down.
Peterzak. So with 4 minutes, 2 seconds remaining to be played in the first quarter, there's a timeout with the Minnesota Vikings leading the New Orleans Saints by a score of 3-0.
This man leads the good life. He puts on his bow tie, he puts on his tuxedo, and then he puts on his Accord LX, our most luxurious Honda, with features like variable assist power steering, digital clock, and air conditioning as standard, with plush seats and deep pile carpeting. So, for people who lead the good life, the car that leads the simple life.
Honda, we make it simple.
I'll try almost anything. So when Mattel Electronics asked me to compare their Intellivision games with Atari, I gave it a try. I compared Atari baseball with Intellivision and found Intellivision played much more like real baseball. Then I compared Atari football with Intellivision. Again, Intellivision played more like the real game. In my opinion, if you try them both, there's only one conclusion you can come to. Intellivision from Mattel Electronics.
Next Saturday live, the WBC's fourth-ranked Howard Davis meets Johnny Lira in a lightweight bout from Lake Tahoe, and World Cup skiing from France. Next Saturday, 4:30 Eastern on the CBS Sports Spectacular.
And in first quarter score, Tampa Bay leading the Packers 3-0. A 39-yard field goal by Yepremian.
And right here, the Vikings are leading by a score of 3-0. They have the ball first and 10 at the 42. Ted Brown has gained 45 yards and 9 carries. Kramer, the quarterback, short drop. Guns it, and it's deflected up into the air. Incomplete. You saw Tommy Hart, 53, deflected and then try for the interception and did not quite make it.
Well, Tommy Kramer really got lucky here that it wasn't intercepted. Take a look again, the three short drop to throw the ball. What happens is the offensive linemen have to fire out and make contact. If the defensive lineman can read it, he can avoid it and go up and try to knock the pass down, and that's what he did then.
3 linemen rush now defensively for the New Orleans Saints. 2nd and 10 for the Minnesota Vikings. They have the ball at their own 42-yard line. And they have a 3-0 lead. They double receivers to the left side. Ricky Young in a wing right. Ted Brown for lone set. Back the pitch to Brown. No gain. Stacked up. Eloy Scrooms, number 78, along with Don Schwartz, strong safety, turned him back as he got to the line of scrimmage. 3rd and 10 at the 42.
Eloy Scrooms, they have people that give you 100% out there. That's the thing they haven't had all year is 45 people giving you 100%.
Clock is running with 3:25 remaining in the first quarter. 3 wide receivers in the ball game just now for the Minnesota Vikings. Ted Brown has come off. Sensors in the right set. Shotgun. Kramer guns and incomplete. Possible interception by Joe Federspiel. Federspiel's incompletion brings on the punting unit.
Federspiel had a shot at this one. He tried to force the ball. Here's Rashad coming down, trying to get in the middle of the zone. And you see all the people. The ball was thrown behind Federspiel. He's got so much tape on his hands. Both hands all bandaged up. I don't see how he could catch it anyway, but the ball was behind him.
Rick Danmeyer has averaged 38.2, and he has ended, Greg Coleman has averaged 38.2, and Greg Coleman is the punter. Chandler is deep. High trajectory toward the sideline, no run back. It'll be lined up along the sideline and put in play. First down, 10 yards to go at the 30-yard line. We have 2 minutes, 58 seconds remaining to be played in the first quarter. And the score is still the Minnesota Vikings 3 and the New Orleans Saints nothing.
What would happen if you could take the turbo diesel engine from the Mercedes-Benz 300 SD turbo diesel sedan and put it into the Mercedes-Benz station wagon? This would happen. That's exactly what Mercedes-Benz did for 1981. Introducing the world's first turbo diesel station wagon, the Mercedes-Benz 300 TD.
People consult me about rare vintages and costly wines all the time. But when it comes to California Chablis, they think one is as good as another. Well, that's just not so. I've compared them, and in my opinion, Chablis Blanc from Ernest and Julio Gallo is the superior Chablis. A great tasting wine. Frankly, the more you know about wine, the more you appreciate Gallo.
Chablis Blanc from the winery of Ernest and Julio Gallo.
On Flo, it's a chug-a-lug contest, and Flo picks someone to share her vacation prize. Suddenly, winners become losers. Can Flo save the situation? Find out Monday.
Next Sunday, we hope you'll be with us when the NFL Today kicks off a doubleheader afternoon of football action. Sonny, look at that. Green Bay and Chicago in the Central Division.
Boy, that's right, and we're going to be at Minnesota and Tampa Bay. We'll be down in Tampa Bay for that one. In Detroit, of course, big game against St. Louis. It's some good games, and I tell you, because that Central Division is still up for grabs.
Isn't it, though? First and 10 now for the New Orleans Saints at their own 30. Jimmy Rogers, Wayne Wilson, the setbacks for that man, Archie Manning. Manning. Rogers incomplete. Jimmy Rogers, the intended receiver, second and 10 at the 30-yard line. Art Mullaney was putting the pressure on.
Yeah, that was just a secondary receiver.
Doubleheader part next Sunday. Just there, New Orleans will be at San Francisco as Dick Stanfield goes home.
And what about the last one? Dallas at Oakland. That's got to be a goodie.
We're getting down to the very interesting part of this football season. It becomes conclusive along about now. Second down and 10 yards to go for the New Orleans Saints. By the draw, Rogers. And he's out to the 35-yard line for a gain of 5, making it 3rd and 5 at the 35.
The draw play then. Of course, Minnesota expecting the pass, and anytime they're expecting the pass and you run the draw, they have to read it perfectly to stop it.
New Orleans Saints.
Excuse me, Lindsay. It's a little score there. Bengals leading the Chiefs 7-0 in the first quarter.
New Orleans Saints looking for their first win. Of course, they have won none, lost 12. No team has ever gone through a 16-game schedule without a victory. And Tampa Bay wasn't winning any games. The schedule was 14 games. 6 defensive backs. Rogers has the ball, and he goes to the 36-yard line. Art Mullaney made the tackle, and the punting unit is coming on for the New Orleans Saints, and the natives are getting a little restless.
The natives didn't like that call, 3rd and about 4, to run the ball off tackle. But again, of course, they're thinking run the ball instead of throw the thing when they're expecting you to.
Eddie Payton, Walter Payton's brother, back there at the 15-yard line. Russell Erxleben holds that ball high and boots it. A long, high trajectory kick. Payton moves up and takes it at his 21-yard line. Eddie Payton. Stopped by Chuck Evans. So with 1 minute 33 seconds left to play in the first quarter, score is still the Minnesota Vikings 3 and the New Orleans Saints nothing.
Need your help. Is it me or my 1981 Toyota Corolla? Watch. See what I mean? I know Corolla looks like a million, got plenty of style, not to mention a peppy 1.8-liter engine. But I ask you, is it me or my Toyota Corolla?
Give me a ride to the library?
Tell me, was it me or my Toyota Corolla?
Oh, what a feeling! Your Corolla! Toyota!
Missile exercise, Atlantic Range.
100-25-9.
The Navy. Over 75% of our jobs give you technical training. Get one.
Target's turning starboard outbound. Over.
2, 1. Fire. Birds away.
Navy. It's not just a job, it's an adventure.
Next Saturday live, lightweight contenders Howard Davis and Johnny Lira face off in Lake Tahoe. And World Cup skiing from France, all next Saturday, 4:30 Eastern on the CBS Sports Spectacular.
Dick Stanfill, the interim coach of the New Orleans Saints, just there. His first day as a head coach in the NFL.
He says he's interested in winning these last 4 football games. He's not ready to throw in the towel yet. He said if they wanted somebody to do that, they had to get someone else.
I asked him how he felt about being a caretaker. He said he wasn't a caretaker for anybody. First and 10 at the 28-yard line. Brown and Young are the setbacks. Kramer. And Kramer is down at the 20-yard line for a loss of 8 on the play to make it 2nd and 18. Hart and Elias Grooms. Tommy Hart, Elias Grooms.
Minnesota trying to go for a long rhythm pass, taking a long time to throw the football, getting a deeper type pattern, and the rushes get Tommy Hart coming in, you see, and a little help from Grooms.
Of course, Dick Stanfill got into action right away as head coach at his first practice session. There was a flap involving Don Reese, who was not active at the time, and he was suspended. On the delay, it's Brown out to the 24-yard line. Stopped by Derlin Moore.
Minnesota trying the same thing the Saints did, running the draw play. Look at this. Doug Williams to a touchdown pass still in the first quarter. They lead 10-0 now over Green Bay.
3rd down and 14 yards to go for the Vikings. They held the ball at their own 24. We have less than a minute remaining to be played in the first quarter. Clock is running. 3 wide receivers in the ball game now. Terry LeCount is in there. Going to the shotgun for Kramer. Sends it to the left side. Young to the right side of him in the triumvirate. Kramer has the ball. Incomplete. LeCount at the 40-yard line.
He had him enough for the first down then. Made a good throw. Went to the right receiver.
Chapman covering 4th down. Punting unit coming on now for the Minnesota Vikings. The incompletion stopped the clock with 17 seconds left in the quarter. Wes Chandler drops back to field the punt. Last punt was 28 yards by Greg Coleman, 4-year veteran from Florida A&M. Fair catch signal goes up, and Chandler makes it at the 40-yard line. So that is where the New Orleans Saints start. Good field position. Their own 40, 1st and 10. 35-yard punt.
Well, they got good field position. They need to get something moving offensively now. They've stopped themselves with incompletions. Tip ball, threw the ball behind Charles one time in the drives they've had the thing. They need to execute, be consistent offensively now.
Well, they spotted near the 41-yard line, 1st and 10. Archie Manning. Penalty marker thrown. Rodgers has the ball. He's at the 45. And he goes out of bounds near the 49, but there is a marker. Holding indicated against the Saints. That's a preliminary signal.
Looked like it could. Penalty could be on Emmanuel Sanders. He was back there right with Bob Frederick that time. I shouldn't be giving Sanders a blame for this one before the officials have, should I?
Well, I'll say this. There comes a time in the game where holding seems about the only thing to do, and that was one of them right there.
He was under some pressure.
Offensive holding, number 79, 1st down.
Well, you see it right there as he's got the outstretched arms trying to grab Doug Sutherland.
It is Emmanuel Sanders, and time has run out. That's the end of the first quarter with the score, Vikings 3 and the Saints nothing.
I didn't think you could improve on a Kodak pocket camera until I used one of the unique new Kodak cameras with built-in electronics Sensa-Light flash. It turns itself on and automatically flashes whenever you need more light. It even turns itself off. You'll never worry about a flash again. A new extra light camera with Sensa-Light flash. A great way to wrap up Christmas gift giving. I trust my stories to cameras and film from Kodak, America's storyteller.
simple evolution. After 9 years, the Honda Civic has grown a trunk and 2 more doors, plus a lot of other simple features you'd expect to find in a roomy and comfortable sedan. But because it's a Honda, you also get incredible gas mileage. The Honda Civic 4-door sedan, it's simple evolution.
Honda, we make it simple.
Control 6 to base. Looks like this big old hole in the ground is going to be safe for the night. Over.
So they come out all beat. It's Miller time. Miller time. Time to appreciate the difference between a good beer
When it's time to relax
and a great beer.
one beer stands clear.
Miller High Life.
You got the time. We got the beer. Miller beer. Come Miller time. We got the beer.
The NFL on CBS. Today's game is sponsored by Honda. We're kicking off our season with an all-pro lineup of cars. Honda, we make it simple. And by the Miller Brewing Company, brewers of Miller High Life. If you've got the time, we've got the beer.
As we start the second quarter, this is Lindsey Nelson with Sonny Jurgensen in New Orleans. And the New Orleans Saints have the ball first and 20 at their own 31. They trail by 3. Archie Manning is the quarterback. Archie Manning rolling out and looking downfield and throwing, and it is complete. Up near midfield to Henry Childs, his tight end. And to be spotted at the 47-yard line. Curtin Hoff made the tackle.
Well, this is a kind of a rollout. He goes back in the pocket, goes out of the pocket. You see coming right at the bottom of the screen, Childs just running a drag pattern. Finds a little opening there. After the penalty, still not enough for the first down, but they pick up 17 yards.
So it's 2nd and 3 at the 47. Wes Chandler coming to the right side, Ike Harris to the left side. Running backs in an I formation for Archie Manning. Archie, who from Ole Miss. Wilson carried that time. Short of the first down, Mark Mullaney, James White made the tackle. Stats for the first quarter. Net rushing, the Vikings 48 yards, all by Brown. The Saints 25, all by Rogers. Net passing, the Vikings 5, the Saints 19. Total yardage, Vikings 53, the Saints 44. First downs, Vikings 4 and the Saints 2. Play covered 2 yards. It's 3rd down and a yard. Now 2 tight ends in. Childs and Hardy. Wes Chandler's gone out.
415.
Rogers didn't get it. Met by Randy Holloway.
One of the reasons there, Lindsey, is that they've run the same short yardage play each time, and that is with a lead back taking the ball through the hole. Everybody going aggressively.
4th and 1, and the crowd says go, go. And the reason the crowd says go is we're in the 13th game of the season, and they haven't won one, and the crowd says, what do you got to lose? However, Dick Stanfield, the interim coach, says bring the punting unit on. We are still early in the day.
Exactly right, and it is the right decision.
Eric Slavin has punted 3 times for a 40-yard average. Eddie Payton is dropped back standing at his own 10. Eric Slavin gets it off. Long, high, spiraling kick. Payton's fair catch signal goes up, and he makes it at the 13-yard line. They'll start 1st and 10 there. So there is 13 minutes remaining to be played in the first half of this game at the Louisiana Superdome. Minnesota Vikings 3 and the New Orleans Saints nothing.
Come experience what lies beyond the sports car. American Motors introduces Eagle SX4, the new 4-wheel drive sport machine. Eagle SX4 outcorners Trans Am in soft sand, out-accelerates Mustang Turbo in loose dirt, outbrakes MGB on dry pavement. Plus, the 4-wheel drive Eagle SX4 beats them all in gas mileage. Experience driving in the 4th dimension with American Motors.
Imagine a hot ball of light that you've got to get rid of. It gets passed to you faster and faster. That's the thrill of strobe. Strobe, the frantic new electronic action game. As the hot ball of light gets passed to you, press the button fast to get rid of it.
Can you take the pressure?
Make one bad pass and...
Ow, I'm out.
Strobe, the fast-action hot ball of light game from Lakeside.
In the third quarter, the Atlanta Falcons leading the Redskins 7-3.
First down and 10 yards to go now for the Minnesota Vikings. Brown and Young are the setbacks for Tommy Kramer. That's Ted Brown, bounced off, tried to circle back and took a loss back to the 10-yard line because Elias Grooms would not be avoided.
Just no daylight, no place to run this time. See Huff trying to make a block. He gets stuffed. Brown says, let's try the other way for a change. People over there, a lot of people. Grooms around him. Tommy Myers all the way up from his safety position to make help on the tackle behind the line of scrimmage.
Saints have got Kovac and Fettersfield both in there now. Second down and 13 yards to go. It's a Ricky Young. But there is no corner to be turned. Ken Bordelon, number 50, left outside linebacker.
Boy, he makes a good play this time. Taking a look from the end zone. Fettersfield coming in, gets blocked. Bordelon had played it perfectly. He played off the block. Of all people, Ron Yari made a good play there. Number 50, Ken Bordelon.
Third and 13, the ball's at the 11-yard line. Got 5 defensive backs in there now, the New Orleans Saints have. In anticipation of Tommy Kramer putting the ball up. Came to this game with 11 touchdown passes and 17 interceptions, but he came in having completed 100 without an interception. Leads that one out to the 23-yard line. Taken by Sammy White there, where it's going to be right at the stick, so they're looking now. Chapman made the stop. You'll recall it was third and extremely long, and so they're looking. It's a 1st and 10. He made it.
And they've done the same thing the 3 times on 3rd and very long. In the slot formation, they go down and throw the ball to the inside man in the slot. The outside man clearing it out. He runs a sideline pattern and picks up enough for the first down.
14 yards all told to make it 1st and 10 at the 24. Sammy White goes wide to the right side. Ahmad Rashad comes far to the left side. That's Brown with running room up to the 30-yard line. Ted Brown. Mike Foltz, Joe Fettersfield on the tackle.
For a good hole this time. You see just giving it to the short man up inside. Huff making a good block this time on Fettersfield. Big hole there. Mike Foltz coming over, also helping in on the tackle.
Second down and 5 yards to go at the 30-yard line. Sammy White right, Ahmad Rashad to the left side. That's Brown. Got the 1st and 10, and he's out to the 45-yard line. 1st and 10.
Well, he made that on his own also. Play designed to go inside. Didn't find any daylight, and he keeps sneaking back. Look at him. Right up the middle. No hole. Dance to the right. Pursuit had come inside. Foltz had come inside. Myers gets knocked off. He gets all the way down to Waymer.
He picked up 15 yards on play.
You think you've defensed the play correctly, and the guy breaks it and makes 15 yards.
They're doubling White and Rashad to the left side. White's in the slot. Tries to swing it after Ricky Young. It's a forward pass behind the line, incomplete. Pressure by Reggie Mathis. Make it 2nd and 10 at the 45-yard line.
Well, good defense that time. They came with the blitz. They didn't have it cooked up. Tommy, and going back, look at the right-handed quarterback. He has to get his head turned around in a hurry, and he realizes the linebacker's right there looking at him, and he can't quite get it out in time for Young to handle.
Minnesota Vikings leading in the game by a score of 3-0. A first quarter field goal. We have 9 minutes, 22 seconds left to play in the half. Tommy Kramer. Deflected, incomplete. He's trying to get it to Ricky Young.
Jim Kovac had a chance to make an interception that time. A lot of tip balls. take a look, going back here, throwing the ball, trying to throw the ball to Young. It gets tipped right at the line of scrimmage by Grooms. The ball is thrown behind Kovacs, and can possibly have been a foul right then on Ricky Young, making contact, avoiding the interception.
3 wide receivers in on a 3rd and 10. Terry LeCount is in there. Shotgun formation, direct snap to Kramer. Over the middle and incomplete to Sensor. He's trying to hit his tight end, Joe Sensor, up the middle. That will bring in the punting unit now for the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, they just had a lack of communication on that play. Sensor and Young. He threw the ball right by Young's head, too, trying to get the ball to Sensor.
Wes Chandler has dropped back Greg Coleman to do the punting. 2 punts today, average 31.5 yards. Coleman. Coleman puts it up. Fair catch signal, but he'll make no effort to catch it on the fly. No return. Bounce inside the 10. And is down there. So it'll be 1st and 10 at the 8-yard line. We have 8 minutes 58 seconds left to play in the 2nd quarter. 3-0 Vikings.
Introducing a small wonder, the new Toyota Starlet. Born small to solve big problems. Born small to deliver more miles per gallon of gas than any other car, and designed to help beat higher maintenance costs. The very new Toyota Starlet. Born small. In fact, it just may be the first small wonder of the world.
Oh, 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 what a feeling.
Starlet.
Toyota.
Introducing the revolutionary twin action shaving system engineered to outperform twin blades. The new Norelco Rotatract razor. Inside 3 floating heads, Rotatract works like twin blades to grip hair. Raise it up, then razor it off, hundreds of times a second, for a shave that's twin blade close without a nick or cut. The new twin action Norelco Rotatract razor, cord and rechargeable. Twin blade closeness, but no gotcha.
Tuesday, a giant adventure, an epic love story, a daring escape plan, a tale of 2 cities, Tuesday at 8, 7 Central and Mountain.
In the 2nd quarter, Buffalo leading Baltimore Colts 14-0. And the Bengals are leading Kansas City now 7-3. That's also in the 2nd period.
The Orleans Saints have the ball, but they have it deep in their own territory. 1st and 10 at the 8-yard line. Archie Manning still quarterbacking. Manning retreats to the goal line and throws out to Childs, and it's intercepted. Taken by Hannon. Tommy Hannon returns on the interception. And Hannon is at the 17-yard line with his 4th interception of the year. So now it is...
They had double the outside receivers, Lindsey. And Tommy Hannon makes an excellent play this time because he comes off of the man he's covering. The ball just on the outstretched hands of Childs. He can't make the reception. Hannon just played the ball well that time. Came back, got a tip ball. They work on this all week in practice. And, of course, a big break for the Vikings and a tough break for the Saints. He was going in the right place then.
1st and 10 now. The ball's at the 17-yard line. It's Brown. Stacked up by Tommy Myers and Mike Fultz. He got a yard on the play to make it 2nd down and 9.
By going to the right place, that meant the fact that both outside receivers double covered. The thing you want to do is try to get to your tight end down the middle of the defense. He tried it, and it backfired on him.
3-man defensive rush now for the New Orleans Saints. 2nd and 9 for the Minnesota Vikings at the 16-yard line. They lead it by a score of 3-0. Double receivers to the left side. Running back 12, Christopher Kramer. Gets it out to Ricky Young. Ricky Young lost a yard as Ken Bordelon brought him down with an ankle tackle.
For a good open field tackle that time. Again, the secondary receiver. Good coverage downfield, a play action fake. He's looking at Sensor coming across, realizing the pressure's getting him. He goes outside. Borderline gets himself squared away that time to make the play.
3rd and 10 at the 17-yard line. 7 minutes, 35 seconds remaining to be played in the first half. Got 5 defensive backs in now in anticipation of Minnesota going to the air on the 3rd and 10. Split the running backs for Tommy Kramer. Kramer guns it, and it is there for a touchdown. A sliding catch by Sammy White for the touchdown.
Oh, he makes a real strong throw that time, the White. He gets good protection. They were kind of in a prevent defense, only 3 men rushing. He goes back, he gets good protection. You see, Kramer gets everything behind the ball and delivering the ball. Finds a seam in the deep zone. He hits it for the touchdown.
Bud Grant, head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, along the sideline. Rick Danmeyer is in to attempt the conversion. Steve Dills will hold for him. He is 26 for 26 in the conversion department. Dills puts it down. Danmeyer moves it up, and it is no good. It is wide, no good. His first miss of the year.
He had a high snap.
And so, with 7 minutes, 14 seconds remaining to be played in the first half, it's the Vikings 9 and the Saints nothing.
Hi, my name's Jerry. We're identical twins.
Well, almost.
I like this 1981 Toyota truck because it's tough.
I like this 1981 Toyota truck because it's low price.
She always likes a bargain.
And he always likes to be tough.
Look, I see my sister's point. For the money, this truck is hard to beat.
And I see my brother's point. A truck should be tough, like a Toyota.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Mr. Macho.
Oh, 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 what a feeling. Tough deal. Toyota.
Dial it has national sports news. It's new, it's rational just to call National Sports for all the latest reports. We're talking national sports news. We've got it all. 900, what a wonderful call. 900-976-1313. 900-976-1313. Dial it. We're talking to you.
Danmeyer will kick it off now, having teed it up at the 35-yard line. Jimmy Rogers is center deep, flanked by Wilson on one side, Galbraith on the other. Sail downfield. Rogers moves over at the 10-yard line. Jimmy Rogers has it to the 15, to the 20, to the 25, cuts back toward midfield, and advances to the 30-yard line.
Well, you take a look at that kick. I thought that snap was a little higher from Langer to Dills, but Danmeyer has plenty of time to kick this. Good hole that time by Dills getting it down. You can see he just pushed it a little bit. I think you jinxed him, Lindsay, saying he was 26 out of 26. And you can see the disgust on his face, too. He knew.
At least 26 out of 27.
Well, that's not bad.
1st and 10 at the 30-yard line. Archie Manning dropping back, sidearms it out to Rogers. Rogers at the 35, at the 40. Rogers at the 41-yard line. That's the first down. Nord and Studwell made the tackle.
A difficult pass to throw. Just after you've had an interception to come right back on the field. I think it's a good, smart thing for the quarterback to do, to come back and throw the ball right after you've had an interception. Don't start sitting on it. You're not going to win that way. This time he makes a good throw, and Rogers picks up a first down. Here the Cards leading the Giants 10-0.
Tony Galbraith has come into the ball game, and Rogers has come off now. Galbraith number 34 in there for New Orleans Saints. This is Wilson carrying. Wayne Wilson with the football. Stopped by Matt Blair.
Our producer Bob Rowe just told me, he said that, you know, it's just like falling off of a horse and getting back up on the horse real quickly. It's a little different when you're the quarterback back there throwing the thing.
Or even if you're the horse. It is 2nd down and 9 at the 42. Galbraith has come off, in there for one play. Jimmy Rogers is back in.
Steelers, they still have that shot, and they got Houston on Thursday. 16-3 they're leading.
Archie Manning tried to get it to Ike Harris, incomplete.
He was forced out of the pocket. The ball was a little high for Harris to hold. You see, watch him go back when he goes back this time. The rush coming around. He's running away this time. Has to throw the ball off balance. Only a one-handed effort by Harris. I would say, what happened to the other arm? Get both of them up there.
39 at the 42-yard line for the New Orleans Saints.
Looked like a catchable ball that time.
Archie Manning brings them up. 5 defensive backs in now for the Minnesota Vikings.
276.
Archie Manning. The end of the line. Manning is sacked at the 30-yard line. Randy Holloway got there first. Mulaney's there. White's there. They congregated.
Well, that's why he was forced out of the pocket last time. When people realize you're behind in the game and you got to run for your life. You stay in the pocket. You want to throw the ball on rhythm, and you see all of them back there. Holloway, Sutherland, Mulaney.
James Taylor is the man getting attention out there on the field. It's now Erxleben tend to do the punting.
Well, you really get familiar with those defensive linemen as a quarterback when you're behind in the game, because each time you're getting up with them.
4 punts today for Erxleben. He's averaged 39 yards. These New Orleans Saints came into this ball game 13th in the National Football Conference in offense. That's next to last. And 14th, that's last in defense. The 8 man is Eddie Payton. Erxleben booms it out. Eddie Payton, 21-yard line. 25, 30 to the 32.
My feet, made the bed with my feet, drove my mum crazy. But I finally found something I enjoy doing with my hands, drinking light beer from Miller. Light has a third less calories than the regular beer. It's less filling, but what really makes me happy is the taste. It's terrific. Now, my mum should be happy too. Look, Mum, no feet.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
As if Hawaii didn't already have enough going for it. Soon it will have a new airline, a special airline. The airline that's been selected again as the #1 choice for domestic travel by frequent flyers. The airline, American. The main reason, service. And starting December 17th, you can get this #1 service on the way to Hawaii.
We're American Airlines, doing what we do best.
Next Saturday live, the WBC's 4th-ranked Howard Davis meets Johnny Lira in a lightweight bout from Lake Tahoe, and World Cup skiing from France. Next Saturday, 4:30 Eastern on the CBS Sports Spectacular.
You see that second quarter score, Tampa Bay leading Green Bay 10-0. Big game in the Central Division.
Exactly. There are the standings in the Central Division of the National Football Conference. Everybody's alive coming into today's game. 1st and 10 here now. Tommy Kramer back. And right over the middle, and it's completed. Brown has the ball, and Ted Brown is up to the 45-50 and goes out of bounds at the 45-yard line. Run out by Tommy Myers.
You throw the ball to the check down, safety valve. Look at the fullback. He's back here helping block. He stands there, nobody comes. Then he just checks over the middle, sticks up a hand. You throw the ball 4 yards, and he makes a run of 22 with the thing. If he'd have had more room, he could have straightened up that sideline then, had a long way to run.
This is Censor 81 coming in with the next play. That was a gain of 22 yards on that pass play. Archie Manning along the sideline, the New Orleans quarterback. Had a great All-American career at Ole Miss in his college days. 1st and 10 at the 45-yard line. This is Brown again. Put his shoulder down and go to the 42.
You see what he did to Wes Hamilton that time. He said, come on, Wes, hurry up. Get up here in front of me. Watch him. He takes a little jab step, goes back. Now he holds, he kind of pushes Hamilton out in front of him, waiting for his guard. He saw all those black shirts over there waiting for him.
2nd down, 7 yards to go at the 42-yard line.
The Colts have scored against Buffalo. Greg Landry, substituting for an injured Burt Jones, scored on a 7-yard run.
Early counts in the ball game now. 3 wide receivers in there for the Minnesota Vikings. Kramer balloons it across the sideline marker, hit just as he turned it loose. Bordelon and Mathis saw it converge, scissored as it were.
Well, it came with the blitz. He wasn't going to take any chances. He realized he was going to get hit if he didn't deliver the ball, and he threw the ball away because you see the blitz. Boy, he did take a lick just as he delivered the thing. He wanted to be careful because Waymer was covering that well.
3rd down and 7 yards to go. Brown is going off the field on the far side. 4 minutes, 18 seconds remaining to be played in the first half. They come up in a shotgun. 3 wide receivers in the ball game. Sensor on one side of the quarterback and Young on the other. Kramer going to get the sensor, and it's incomplete, and the penalty marker goes down. Kovac was there, 52, and he's unhappy. Sensor was the intended receiver.
Kovac is actually going for the football, but they're going to call contact before the ball arrives. He has good pass protection. He's throwing the ball to a man underneath the linebackers, and the contact made there before the ball arrived. That's what Sensor was complaining about. Of course, they said the Saints feel that he was going for the football, that he has a legitimate shot at the football as well as the receiver.
1st and 10 now for the Minnesota Vikings at the New Orleans 36-yard line. Young and Brown, the setbacks for quarterback Tommy Kramer. Kramer. And it's complete. Taken by Ricky Young. He's inside the 25 and continues to drive. Kovac and Mathis finally brought him down. He'll be marked at the 23-yard line.
Well, the man that's getting lost on this play-action pass, again, is the man they fake to, Ricky Young, number 34. Just as after he made his fake, not a very good fake at that, he just checks down the middle, finds the open little seam, picks up another 1st down.
They picked up 12 yards on the play. Clock is running with 3 minutes, 37 seconds left to play in the half, and Minnesota is leading 9-0. A Minnesota victory would put them in a first-place tie in the Central Division with the Detroit Lions, who were defeated by the Chicago Bears in overtime on Thanksgiving. Ricky Young is carrying, and he gets inside the 20-yard line. 19-yard line, a gain of 4. Make it 2nd down and 6. Kovac, along with Derlin Moore, made the tackle.
Well, they had the chance to stop him on this drive, but they get the pass interference call. Minnesota playing a lot better than they played last week, aren't they?
Against the Green Bay Packers, they had no excuses, really. I noticed in the postmortems, they simply said that they played badly.
That's almost a face mask right here on this call.
This is Ted Brown. He is inside the 15, and Ted Brown struggles to the 10-yard line. That'll be a 1st down. Myers on the tackle. First and 10 at the 10.
I tried to listen to what some of the players had to say after the game. Blair said he just didn't think they were prepared mentally last week.
Of course, they got a big lift on Thanksgiving when some of them listened on radio, they said, and some of them watched on television as the Chicago Bears won that thriller on the 95-yard kickoff return in overtime to defeat Detroit. That gave them a big boost in Minnesota.
Well, what a happy Thanksgiving for them, huh?
Now, the 2-minute warning has come up as you see the time in set there. With 2 minutes remaining to be played, the automatic timeout, 2 minutes to play in the half, and the Vikings are leading by a score of 9-0.
I looked at Datsun 280ZX and Porsche 924 because I wanted a refined sports car. Then I looked at and drove this new Mazda RX-7, and that's all it took.
Just one look, that's all it took. Yeah, just one look, that's all it took.
The Mazda RX-7 keeps getting better. Even the mileage is 24% better than last year. And the more I looked, the more I liked the looks of its price.
The more you look, the more you like. Reunity, it tastes so fine. Reunity, pure and natural wine.
Riunite on ice. Red, white, and rosé. What a nice way to break the ice.
Monday, an all-new country Christmas special starring Debbie Boone, Tanya Tucker and Glenn Campbell, Loretta Lynn, the Oak Ridge Boys, Tom Orpat, and Minnie Pearl Monday.
Total offense to this point, net rushing, the Vikings 80 yards, the Saints 27. Net passing, the Vikings 69, the Saints 36. Total offense, the Vikings 149 yards, the Saints 63. First down, the Vikings 11, and the Saints 3. Brown has gained 75 yards already in 17 carries. Ted Brown for the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings are leading it by a score of 9-0. 2 minutes remaining. Clock starts on the snap. First and 10 at the 10. Brown and Young are the setbacks. Tommy Kramer. That's Ricky Young. Got a couple, maybe 3. It'll be second down coming now. Derlin Moore on the stop, along with Schwartz.
Little misdirection play that time. First time they've run that type of action. Brown going right, and of course he has the attention of the Saint linebackers because of the success he's had running the football today.
Second and 7. Kramer. He is sacked at the 14 by Derlin Moore.
Very good pass rush this time. Out of the Saint defense, no blitz this time. Just a down lineman coming, but they had good coverage in the secondary. He did not have an opportunity to throw the ball. If he'd had a little more time, he could have laid it up to Sensa for the touchdown. But the rush got him. Boy, that's just what an effort that is for Derlin Moore and Grooms and them to come in like that without any help.
Lost 7 on the play, puts it back at the 15-yard line. This is a third down play. Kramer rolling and looking and stopping and looking back and throwing across the field to Ricky Young, and penalty markers thrown. 2 of them thrown. It was Mathis, Reggie Mathis, the defender.
2 pass interference calls on this drive. He rolls one way, very dangerous throw, something you do not like to do as a quarterback. Roll to one side of the field, lay it up. You see how long the ball's in the air. Everybody making a move to go after it. Number 56, Reggie Mathis, going up. And of course, he made contact way before the ball got there. You see right here, borderline, everybody coming back, and you'll see as he rolls one way, number 34 coming right at you. Ricky Young, ball's thrown to him. Watch your contact before the ball comes. He's into him, does not allow him an opportunity to catch a football. A pass interference call.
Pass interference in the end zone. First down goal to go at the 1-yard line. 3 tight ends now for the Minnesota Vikings. First and goal. Young, Ricky Young stood up, did not get in. It'll be second down and goal to go.
Did they stop the play? They call a timeout? No, they didn't. They're winding it down, and it's inside of a minute.
38 seconds, 37 seconds and running. That's time remaining in the half. You see the official time. Inset upper right-hand corner of your screen. Second down and goal to go. Robert Miller comes into the ball game now, and Ricky Young has gone out. Ted Brown's in the right set. Robert Miller's in the left set. 20 seconds left to play in the half. Brown, touchdown for Ted Brown. So with 15 seconds remaining in the half, the Minnesota Vikings have scored a touchdown.
Well, they run the slant off tackle to get it in. Huff pulling out, making a block along with Robert Miller there, blocking on Don Schwartz. Finds a seam, gets in. But the big thing in that drive, you're taking a look at the play again, going in. Just good blocking up there. A lot to ask when they've been penalized. 56 yards now for the Saints, none for the Vikings.
Conversion attempt coming now. Dills is holding, Dan Meyer boots it up, and this one is good. So he's 27-28 for the season. And with 15 seconds remaining to be played in the half, the score is now the Minnesota Vikings 16 and the Saints nothing.
I've had lots of good times in my life, playing for Paul Brown and the Cleveland Browns,
making the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and being recognized by the Hall as the game's greatest passer. That was the good news. But then there's a day I got some bad news, when I found out I had colorectal cancer. Luckily, my job as athletic director at the Coast Guard Academy requires regular physicals. If yours doesn't, make it your job to have them yourself. Early detection and advances in cancer research helped me have a successful operation. I'm even back at work full time. Cancer can be beat. I'm living proof. Let's go play a football game. What do you say? Come on. Come on. 1, 2, 3, hut.
The National Football League and the American Cancer Society are united in the fight against cancer. NFL teams contribute generously to cancer research through NFL charities. They ask you to join them in supporting the American Cancer Society.
The preceding announcement was furnished as a public service for the National Football League. Denmark teed the ball up. That was a 67-yard drive, 10 plays, and it took 5 minutes and 2 seconds.
And 2 big penalties in that drive, Lindsey.
Rogers is sent deep, flanked by Wilson Galbraith. They roll this one downfield. It is bobbled by the New Orleans Saints, and the Minnesota Vikings touched it last. Terry LeCount. Terry LeCount is the man who got there to it. And so the Vikings get the ball, 12 seconds on the clock.
They're trying to avoid a run back here by kicking the ball on the ground. And as the ball rolls along the ground, lineman coming over trying to pick the thing up. Number 51, Stan Holloway, tries to pick it up, doesn't get a grip on it. And the Vikings recover the thing with 12 seconds to play. They still have a shot to get some more points here in the first half.
In the final 2 minutes, of course, the clock did not start until the ball was touched by Holloway, so it only took 3 seconds. It is first and 10 at the 32. Young and Brown to the setbacks for Kramer. Minnesota Vikings leading by a score of 16-0. Kramer. And he is sacked near the 40-yard line by Lois Grooms. Immediately timeout is called to stop the clock with 7 seconds remaining. It's at the 39-yard line. Loss of 7 on the play.
Boy, just an excellent rush this time. Tough position for the defense. They've been on the field a long time. Alois Grooms, the left defensive end, Tennessee Tech. It's a good rush. No place for Kramer to go with the football.
You see Bud Grant and staff along the sideline talking to Tommy Kramer, the quarterback.
Boy, they'd like to be able to put this thing up, get it a little closer.
Dick Stanfield, in his first day as a head coach in the National Football League. He's had a long career as a player, as a coach, both at the college level and at the professional level. Was on the staff at Notre Dame for a couple of years at one stretch. He is a native of San Francisco.
The Dolphins have come back and scored a touchdown. David Woodley, their rookie quarterback, hit Nat Moore with a 31-yard touchdown pass, 16-10 now.
All right, Kramer back into the huddle, second down, 17 yards to go. Vikings have the ball at the New Orleans 39-yard line, and the clock starts on the snap. Sammy White to the right side, Ahmad Rashad to the left side. Kramer with the football. Stops, sets, guns it, and it is complete. Rashad at the 25-yard line, but time has run out. Time has run out as Rashad took it at the 25-yard line. And so the Minnesota Vikings go off the field with a 16-0 lead here. And the New Orleans Saints, who came into this game with a record of no wins and 12 losses, have played half the day, and they are considerably behind in this, their 13th game and their first game under their new coach, Dick Stanfield, after last Monday night's defeat at the hands of Los Angeles. Of course, Dick Nolan, following day, was dismissed by the New Orleans Saints, and Stanfield was named as an interim coach to head up the program for the remainder of this season. And at the end of the season, presumably, they'll take a long look and see where they stand. Because this has not been the season they expected after coming off last year's record of 8 wins and 8 losses. They hope for much better things, but have just been unable to get it all going here in New Orleans this year with the New Orleans Saints. So the Minnesota Vikings are leading them by a score of 16-0 at the end of the first half. Minnesota Vikings knowing when they came in here today that if they could win this football game, they would move back into a tie with the Detroit Lions in the Central Division. Now, there will be no wild card representative in the Central Division. That is the surest thing that you can figure out in the standings, because they'll have their representative in there, and that will be it. Nobody else will have a good enough record to be in there.
And it's likely, Lindsay, that this Central Division could go down to the last week of play before the winner is decided, because it is so close and everybody's still mathematically having a chance to win that Central Division. And I think that's what Pete Rozelle wanted. They talk about parity, and they certainly have that within the Central Division, with everybody with just 4 weeks left, counting today, that they all do have that chance to win the thing.
Well, if you talk to observers around, you can look at a thing like this, the Minnesota Vikings, with their remaining games at Tampa Bay, at Cleveland, and at Houston, and that's a tough way to go. That is a tough schedule, tougher schedule than the Detroit Lions have. 16-0 at the half.